Come to me, all you who are tired. That's where I want to stop. Everybody who's tired. Is there anybody listening to me right now that's tired? I ain't just talking about physical tired. I'm talking about you tired. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Yeah, if you know you're tired, just elbow somebody next to you and say, I really am. I'm tired. Don't start a fight and say, I'm tired of you. Don't do that, though. If you're online, put it in the chat right now and say, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. You are like people who have worked for a long time. That's what you're like. But you can be young and tired. You can be a teenager and tired. You are like people who have carried heavy things. So Jesus says, come to me. If you do that, you'll find a place to rest. Somebody say, well, I'm on the way, Jesus. I need that. I'm on the way. Verse 29. Do what I teach you to do. Listen to my message and learn from me what is true. I know you're listening to a lot of stuff. I know you're getting a lot of teaching, but I got something to teach you. And I'm very kind. I do not make myself important. I will help you. And then you will have peace in your mind. Being tired messes with the peace in your mind. Verse 30. I will not tell you to do things that are too difficult. Ooh, that's so good. I will not tell you to carry anything that's too heavy for you. Ooh, that's so good. You may be seated. I got a message, an at message on Twitter. Well, it's not called Twitter anymore. It's called X. So I guess it's called a post. Somebody at me, and they just sent me 3 words. This past week, they sent me 3 words, and these were the 3 words they said, just in a message to me, Pastor, I'm tired. And when I saw that message, I felt that thing. I felt it. I stopped what I was doing. I ain't trying to impress y'all. This is a true story. I stopped what I was doing, and I prayed for the person. I prayed, and I said, God, I don't know what they're going through. Give this person strength moment by moment, whatever they're dealing with. And I wrote back to the person. I said, I just pray for you that God will give you strength moment by moment. But if I can be honest with y'all, when the person sent me this message, said, Pastor, I'm tired, what I really wanted to say is, me too. Because I knew I was tired. But the exchange reminded me of just how tired I was. And so before I go into today's content, I've asked our amazing band to go back to 1982 for our theme song. Go back to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and hit them with this one. We are Zion Music. Hit them with it.
It makes me wonder how I keep it going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep it going under.
Hey! Oh, y'all tripping. Hold up. This is the crowd that should know that song. Drop the track. Hit him live with it. Y'all gonna sing this for me. Shoot, I'm up here. Y'all gonna give me some energy. Hey, don't push me, because I'm tired. Don't push me. This ain't a good time to push me, because I'm close. I'm very snappable right now. How many people know when I might snap? Don't push me. because I'm tired and I'm close to the edge. That's why I dropped off my children at the 8 o'clock service at Extreme Kids Church. And I ain't picking them up to after the 11:30 service. I ain't checking them back out, checking them back in. I checked them in one time. You can put the number up on the screen. I ain't gonna even pay you to call their grandparents. I'm tired and I'm close. Don't push me. I'm sitting on purpose. I'm all the way in the back row on the last seat on the back row for a reason, because I'm tired. Now leave me alone now. Don't be asking me to clap. Don't be asking me to sing along. Don't be asking me to pass the offering to the left. I ain't doing none of that. Y'all pass it. Do your own job. I'm not moving because I'm tired. Yeah, I feel you. I'm on assignment to preach to tired people. I got you. Some of you lit up in your spirit. Something lit up in you when you got the subject. You say, I need this, because I'm tired. Some of you know you're tired, and you know when you're tired, you don't have patience for people or things. But some of you are secretly tired. Let me explain that. Some of you are really just as tired as everybody around you, but you can't let everybody know it because you're the one that got to act like you're strong and got it all together. So you keep grinding and you keep pushing and you keep working and you keep laboring, but you're really tired. And I came to give you permission today to be honest as your pastor or your preacher or whatever you call me, that it's okay to be tired, that it's human to be tired, that it doesn't make you a weak person to be tired. But I also wanted to know you don't have to stay tired. See, one of the reasons why we're tired is because of this subject I want to use for this series. The subject I've chosen for this series is margin, how to balance my resources and my responsibilities. Everybody say margin. Most people are tired, stressed out, exhausted in epidemic levels in our society because of the absence of what is called margin. Now, let me define margin for you. Margin, in its simplest form, is simply space. It is white space. It is a space on the border of papers. When somebody's printing something out, or so you're trying to read a document, you're trying to read an article, you're trying to read a book. What makes the book readable is the margin. If there's no margin in the book, if there's no margin in the magazine, words will run off the page and you don't know where one thing ends and the other begins. It's hard to figure it all out. And just as that is true when you're trying to read something, it is also true in a person's life. You take away margin from a person's life and you have chaos. And it's hard to figure things out, where things start and where they end. And the way this works is, in our lives, God has given us what I call resources, and he's also given us responsibilities. The problem is, in our lives, the resources that we have are limited. Like, we have physical energy resources, and then when we have skills, and we have, it's hard to see these words, we have training, we have wisdom, we have knowledge, we have support systems and spiritual strength and finances. Those are all resources that we have. We're going to make sure those are more bright next week. But those are all of our resources. But even if somebody has more physical strength than you, or somebody has more money than you, we all have a limited amount of whatever resource we have. Nobody has unlimited resources. But it is our resources that we must throw up against our responsibilities. So responsibilities are like bills and commitments and problems and schools. And if you got children, you got a responsibility to parent and work and deadlines and other things that we have, expectations of people, expectations of others. All of those are our responsibilities. And here's where margin comes in. Most of us are close to the edge because it's taken every single resource we have just to meet our responsibilities. And watch this. What margin really is, practically speaking, is the space between my resources and my responsibilities. That gap right there gives me room to breathe. It gives me space and grace. But when all of my resources are used for my responsibilities, I no longer have margin. Now, there's no room for error. One phone call from the school can make me snap. Now I'm cussing my child out and snapping because they spilled milk. If I had margin, I would have been like, it's okay, just clean it up. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The difference between you being exhausted and how you show up in an interaction in the midst of pressure is all about margin. Now, some of us not only have taken our responsibilities all the way up to our resources, some of us have responsibilities that have far exceeded our resources. So you only got so much finances, but you got more bills than finances. You got so much time, but you got more commitments and obligations than you have time. That means you don't just not have margin, you are overloaded. And if you overload anything, you're going to have a problem. If you overload an electrical outlet, you got a problem. If you overload a tractor trailer truck, you got a problem. That's why they have weigh stations, so that won't happen. If you overload a human being, you're going to have a problem. And many of us are close to the edge and saying, don't push me because I'm overloaded. How many people understand what I'm saying so far? You are in over your head. Now, the goal is to find margin in our lives so that we have a space for grace, we have space for emergency, we have space to rest, we have space to extend mercy and kindness to people. We're not snapping on people. All of that is the goal, to get margin. So here's a sign. Let me give you some signs that you might be helpful to know if you don't have margin in your life. Before I say that, you remember the old pinball machine? When we were young, you played pinball machine, and you played the pinball machine and hitting the flippers. But if you're trying to be cool, you would do this to the machine, and you bump it, and you bump it. And by the way, I don't want to forget my point, but I asked my staff, can y'all give me a prop that matches the thing up there? And my service coordinator, director of our church, she said, oh, I got you, Pastor. I got you. I'm ordering one. It'll be here Saturday. I got you covered. She brought this joint in here today. I can wear this as a necklace. I can't even use this as a rock. What in the heck? I don't even. Anyway, so and I lost one of your little things that came out of it. It's so small, it's just up here. We'll never find it. Amen. 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 We're a mega church, 5-star, and got a dollar store prop. I don't understand. Well, I'm gonna leave right there all day too. This is gonna be on your evaluation right here. That's gonna be there. I'm gonna put that video right there. How'd you do this quarter? You see that? That's how you did. Anyway, you've been playing pinball machine, and you ever hit it and hit it and you hit it and you hit it too much, and you know what happens? It tilts. And you know when it tilts, it goes dark. And the ball goes down the drain. And I'm saying, you know what's happening in some of our lives? Somebody pushed on us too much. And you push on me too much, I'm going to go dark. And we're going down the drain. See, here's the thing. Here's the signs. Let me give you some signs of when you know you're living without margin. You stop doing basic things in your life. Like when you don't have margin, you don't even have enough energy to make up your bed. Like, I don't even feel like making the bed up. Or you start eating carry out and fast food all the time. So you don't have time to go get groceries and do meal prep. You're eating carry out and fast food all the time. Amen. Feel it strong in this section over here. I felt a Chick-fil-A. You sit in front of Chick-fil-A on Sunday saying, I know the devil's a liar. I know the devil's a liar. Yes, he is. That's a sign. We should be cooking food. I know when I'm not cooking food, I'm overloaded. When you don't have time to work out, you don't have the time or energy to work out. When interestingly enough, working out actually gives you energy. When you don't have time to spend with God, you don't have time to pray, read the Word. You don't have time to attend church. See, some of y'all online right now, y'all don't have to watch online. I ain't even trying to call you out because I'm grateful. But you ain't really got to. You right over in Blaisburg. People be on the line shouting out. You be seeing people from Wisconsin, and a man drove up here today from Georgia. People be online talking about Upper Marlboro in here, Upper Marlboro. What is your problem? So check this out. And some people attend church and don't attend church. Why are you attending? Because you came, but you working the whole time. So because you serve and never sit, you don't get fed. That's why you serve with an attitude. That's how Martha served, right? Mary was at the feet of Jesus. She had a good attitude. Martha was serving all the time. She complaining about Mary. People who only work in church and never sit and receive are people who are just seconds away from snapping on people because you're out of margin. Ooh, Pastor, you going hard today. Those are signs. Another sign is when you're extra sensitive. You know, stuff that wouldn't normally bother you when you're rested, you be all over the top with, why are you saying it like that? Like, we always say it like that. Or when you procrastinate on stuff. Your service light has been on your car since May. The service light came on back in May saying, we got to get this fixed. You're like, I'm going to get to it. Lord, please just give me work one more time. Like, that's a sign of overload. How many people understand what I'm saying? That means I don't have margin in my life. I'm too busy. Now, here's what Jesus said, and this is what I get. Matthew 11 is all about margin. Look at the verse. Go to verse 28. He says, this is what I want all the tired people, all of you who are weary, come to me. Come to me. Here's the first and foremost, the blessing of being tired is this an opportunity to get closer to the Lord. Because the first thing he did is come back to me. Some of y'all need to come to him for the first time. Some of you need to come back to him because you've been gone too long. So come back to me because first of all, we got to establish an environment where rest and restoration can happen. Come to me, and when you come to me, two things are going to happen. At the end of verse 28, he says, I'm going to give you rest. Everybody say rest. Then in verse 29, he said, I'm going to teach you something. So I'm going to give you instruction. When you come to Jesus when you're tired, he's got two things for you, rest and instruction. What does he got for you? So let's start with rest. First of all, whenever you come to God, that's like a spiritual spa. God is an environment of peace. When you get alone with God, like what he does, picture this, it's in Psalm 23. In Psalm 23, he says, in verse 1, he says, the Lord is my shepherd, and I have no lack. That's what coming to him reminds you of. I've got everything I need. Every need is met. Then watch this. It says in verse 2, he makes me lie down in green pastures. I want you to picture this. The shepherd makes me lie down, not just anywhere, in green pastures. And then he makes me lie down. I gotta put you down. And then he leads me beside peaceful streams and quiet waters. I want you to see it. See it because that's the environment in which he does in verse 2. That's the environment that he does his most important work, which is in verse 3. He says, that's where I refresh your soul. I refresh your soul in an environment of rest and tranquility. But you got to come back to me because you're living in chaos all the time. But I'm so committed to your rest. I'm so committed to margin in your life that I make you lie down in a quiet place. I make you walk and I lead you beside peaceful waters. Not just there to get something to eat or drink. I'm going to do that in verse 5. But watch this, watch this. I'm also doing it because I know in verse 4, you're about to walk through a valley. And I know in verse 5, you're going to eat in front of your enemies. So to prepare you for the valley and your enemies, I got to give you rest and peace first. Because I know what's coming. And if you think you're stressed out now, just wait until you walk through the valley without me. That's why he says, come to me. Like the emotion song, come to me. Don't ask my neighbor. Come to me. Don't be afraid. Come to me. You'll find I love you. All that stuff will preach. Come to me. Come to me. And I'm not only going to give you rest, I'm going to give you instruction. Somebody say, teach me, Lord. Teach me, Lord. You know God has a strategy. God's got a strategy for your fatigue. He's got a strategy for your exhaustion. And I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm going to tell y'all, this Aristotle level stuff. This is that Freud type stuff. In fact, what I'm about to drop on you so deep, I need y'all to write this down. You're going to want to write this down. In fact, don't even write it down. Pull your phone out right now. Because I'm just AI level stuff I'm about to drop on you right now. Pull your phone out and push the camera. I want you to film this. I want you to record what I'm about to say. It's so important. This is going to be so deep. You ain't never heard nothing this deep in your life. I want you, even if you at Landover, you at Fort Washington, Woodbridge, put the camera on the screen. Because I'm about to tell you something. It's going to change your whole life. It's so deep. Y'all ready? I know some of the old people say, well, where the camera at? And reach over and help them find the camera. Y'all ready? This is what the Lord told me to tell you. You ready? You're doing too much. That's the 4 words he gave me. You're doing too much. My mother used to call it ripping and running. You're doing too much. They still recording. I said, oh, that's it. You're doing too much. I said, you may have already known that. In case you didn't, I'm glad to let you know. And you think it's cute because I said it, but I want to show you where it is in the passage. Look back, go back to chapter 11, Matthew chapter 11, go to verse 29. He says, give me the New Living Translation. Give me the New Living Translation of Matthew 11, 29. He says, take my yoke upon you. Everybody say yoke. That's very important. The word yoke is very important. Then he says, let me teach you because I'm humble and gentle at heart and you will find rest for your souls. Soul rest. I like that. But look at verse 30. He says, for my yoke is easy to bear and the burden I give you is light. Here's God's instruction. This is how you get out of living without margin. It's all about the yoke. See, God has designed us, in Palestine during this time, yokes were made by carpenters out of wood and they were made for oxen. Now, all oxen had different yokes because they were custom fit to the size and dimensions and ability of each ox. So when a carpenter would make a yoke for an ox because they needed a yoke in order to do their job, their yoke connected them to their assignment. Ooh, that's so good. Their yoke was connected to their purpose. So the yoke needed to fit them based on their dimensions, their size, their measurements, and their ability and capacity to work. So when they would be measured based on their size, measurements, and abilities, that was the analytics during that time. You understand what I'm saying? Then when that was done, then they would not only rough it according to the size of that ox, they would put it on the ox and let him walk around in it and try it to make sure that it fit. Are y'all with me? Because what the goal was is that I don't want this yoke to choke the ox or to overwhelm the ox, because watch this, the yoke is connected to their assignment, but also the load that they must carry. And I got to make sure the load is right for their measurements and their ability. Ooh, this is so good. So every ox had a custom fit yoke. And God says, because I know how you've been built, I know how to make your yoke easy and your burden light. And I'm not trying to say you're an ox, but I'm trying to tell you God built you. And he built you he knows exactly how much time you have, exactly how much knowledge you have, exactly how much support system you have, exactly how much skills and spiritual strength and finance you have. And God will never put more resources or more responsibility on you than your yoke can handle. When you say, well, why am I tired? I'm saying that's somebody else's yoke that's on you. Because his yoke is easy. Ooh, if you get this revelation, it's going to change your life. I said his yoke is easy. His burden is light. It's not even normal. His yoke is easy. Ooh, wait. Some of us are burnt out and tired because we put our own yoke on. We put a yoke on trying to keep up with the Joneses. So they got a new car. We going got a new car. Got bad credit. Got to get somebody to co-sign because we're trying to keep up. That's a yoke. Now, they've been hosting for Christmas all these years. Now, you're going to try to host for Christmas, but you got to redo your whole house to host for Christmas because you're trying to outdo your sister who you never thought you could measure up to, and now you're trying to do all this. You're trying to impress your family. Ain't nobody going to be tripping off that. No way. But it's got you yoked up and stressed out and tired and overwhelmed, and God said, I ain't put that on you. That's somebody else's yoke. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. So guess what, y'all? Walk in the light. I don't just mean light that you can see. I'm talking about walking and working and serving in light weight. Like God, because your yoke is easy and your burden is light. See, this is what I'm saying. God says, I've given you limitations for a reason. I did not give you limitations so that you could exceed them. I gave you limitations so you know when to rest. And I gave you limitations so you can know when to say no to people. Because you cannot be popular and keep margin. You got to have the guts to be able to nicely tell people no. And no is not rejection. No is protection. No protects my margin. No protects me for my highest and best use. No protects what matters most. I can't say yes to everything. I got to say no. Sometimes if the phone ring, I can't answer it because I know what that is. I got to let that go to voicemail for my margin's sake because I know that's drama. I know what that's all about. I know that you don't ever call unless you want something, unless it's stressful. How many people understand what I'm talking about? You have made yourself sick trying to make everybody happy. That's why you're tired. And God said, that's not my yoke. My yoke is easy. Because I only give you what I built you for. Ooh. The reason why you can't handle what I built you for is because you got other stuff on you that you ain't supposed to be doing. So here's the question, what needs to come off your plate? Because there's only two ways of fixing this margin problem. There's only two ways you can fix it. Either you got to reduce your responsibilities to get margin, or you got to increase your resources. So you can say, I'm not saying you shouldn't try to make more money and get in better physical condition and grow spiritually. But one thing you cannot increase is time. Time is a limited resource. So now you're saying, I got all these bills. Let me go, instead of reducing the bills, let me go make more money. But that's going to cost you time and energy that could have been going to your parenting, which is your yoke. But you ain't home. Woo, I wasn't looking at nobody. I'm just, y'all think I'm looking at y'all. I'm just trying to make a point. For all of us, what needs to come off my plate? The wisest thing to do is look at your list and say, you know what, I'm doing stuff. Why am I doing? Why you do all this for your kids? You're disabling them. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to do nothing. You do everything for them. What guilt trip are you on that has made you go that far for somebody that's not a yoke that God gave you? How deep is your need for affirmation and acceptance that makes you say yes to everything? You had everything. You had bar mitzvahs, banquets, retirements, inaugurations, different outfits for everything. You go to wedding receptions and the wedding. I ain't going to both. You can believe that. I ain't going to both. I ain't going to neither. Cash App. That's what I'm doing. Cash App. Congratulations. You had everything. Anybody that said everything is people pleasing. Because it's impossible for you to be everywhere and be on task. So you got on every yoke but the one God gave you. And that one is easy. I had to deal with this in my life because most calls I get are negative. People don't call me for fun stuff. They call me, Pastor, you got a minute? I know that's going to be 2 hours, but you got a minute? It's my job to tell you, it's my job to say no. It's my job to pass that on. Maybe you should call on the Lord because he has a minute. Well, Pastor's just raw today, yeah, because I'm breaking down. Like it's breaking me down. You can break down trying to carry everybody's expectation. You should call my mother because she helped y'all start this church. And you should marry my daughter because she was in the Sunbeams choir. And you got to look out for my son because he's 5-star all Met, and you should be at his graduation. How am I going to do all that? That's your yoke. See, let me tell you something. This series is serious because you know what? You're going to have to find out, how did I get here? God, show me how I get all the way over here where I'm close to the edge. And you better not push me. How do I get, and not only how did I get here, how do I get back over here where I got room? God don't just want you, watch this, God doesn't just want you to have responsibilities that meet your resources. He don't even want you up here. He says, my yoke is easy. I give you space to relax, to live, to breathe. You know how many people say, it was that day that I finally smelled the flowers and saw the roses. I mean, all that had to happen? You sitting in a wheelchair, yeah, and I saw the roses today. I don't want to be in a wheelchair and see the roses. I want to be walking and see them. So I don't know who's going to get help with this, but I tell you what, We're going to have to make some hard decisions with God's help. Say, God, what's on my plate that ain't even supposed to be there? Let's start with that.